That's up there too.
Live-ish.
Live-ish. That's the best way to describe it. Beatles were only together for 7 years. Well, some people say 8, some people say 9, I guess, in whatever incarnation. Some notes people were giving me in the break on that Beatles documentary. And the reason that they weren't inducted in that inaugural class, I forgot, the 25-year mark. They had not yet hit the 25-year mark when the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame started inducting people. So they had to wait till 88. And, devotion to accuracy, Eric Clapton married George Harrison's ex-wife. Took Patty Boyd from George Harrison.
You were a mess.
Layla, I know, it's all over the place.
You could get it all
We've been
wrong.
gone for 5 days.
Did you even watch the documentary?
Yeah, dude, grow up.
And they only did a dozen or so shows in the United States. Because you forget, there's part of that in that documentary, there's some of the interstitial stuff or things that we all know. The Ed Sullivan Show, the Beatles, that whole thing, But for their reputation had preceded them, so by the time they did the Ed Sullivan Show, that's another thing that always fascinates me too. And a lot of things I think a lot of things over the past 10, 15 years maybe, you can chalk up to people not getting as excited about things because they have access to everything all the time, social media, the internet, whatever. But when you see those Beatles concert footage, when girls are screaming,
Passing out.
What band is making people pass out now?
Travis Scott.
I was just going to say that.
Jesus Christ.
Watching Michael Jackson.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by. We will return to our regularly scheduled program momentarily. Please stay tuned. We expect to resume normal broadcasting shortly.
Okay.
Because of what happened at Astro World.
Wait, what?
There's a whole thing.
That theme park? Yeah. But Jesus, I mean, just listen, girls will scream the Beatles were a boy band, I get it. And girls will scream, but the passing out and the falling over and the...
It's just funny that...
And it was all girls. There were no guys that were standing there screaming and crying for the Beatles.
It's just funny that boy bands then are nothing like the boy bands in like the 90s. Like boy bands back then, all of them played an instrument and none of them like danced in sequence really. Boy bands in the 90s and 2000s, they were the cut off shirts, the synchronized choreography, like it's totally different. So
yeah,
I thought they were a rock band. I didn't know they were considered a boy band.
Well, no, I'm just saying they were a rock band, but people will say because of the reaction from those crowds that the Beatles, tongue in cheek, they'll be like the Beatles were the first boy band. Back then, all the bands were boys, but
Michael Jackson had I was watching a concert movie of his over the weekend, like the Bucharest, Romania concert, and people were literally just on stretchers. I'm like, I can't imagine that. I'd be so pissed. I've saved up all my money to finally go see a Michael Jackson show, and you go to the first song, and it's like, ah! And they take you out on a stretcher. They're literally crowd surfing you to get to the front so you can go on a stretcher and miss the show. I'd be so pissed.
Speaking of Michael Jackson, you want to talk about life imitating art? One of these January 6th traitor dopes, they found out, a guy that's currently being prosecuted, he played Judas in Jesus Christ Superstar, and he was also a Michael Jackson impersonator. Oh. And he's being charged in the January 6th riots. James Beeks, not Clarence Beeks, is a musical theater director with multiple Broadway credits.
Wow, not one size fits all with these, traitors. He's in the theater. You would think it would be, more liberal.
He's a black dude. Well, no, I mean, there are plenty of conservatives in,
But in theater?
Well,
on
again,
Broadway?
but I'm not even saying, I don't even know that he's a conservative. He could have been one of these dopes who just showed up because it looked like a good time. But they said... Well, that's what everybody's saying. As soon as I got caught,
I got
wrapped up.
I was just walking
One thing's
through.
for sure, though. He wasn't a smooth criminal. I liked it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by. We will return to our regularly scheduled program.
All right. So listen, you're correct. He was not a smooth criminal. He's 49. They said he's one of the Oath Keepers. So I guess one of these, I don't know what that oath is, but he's being charged with whatever.
Well, he thought he was going to heal the world.
When he's in prison, he'll have a lot of time with the man in the mirror.
And to beat it.
He'll remember the time that he messed up.
It's almost like they're prosecuting everyone. Doesn't matter if they're black or white.
He's going to be someone's PYT in prison.
Maybe even a dirty Diana.
He is a pretty young thing. I mean, he's not, again, he's 49, but black don't crack. He's a good-looking dude. He was still listed on the Jesus Christ Superstars U.S. tour cast as Judas. And he's got a lot of Broadway credits.
He's used to giving the crowd a thriller.
This guy.
Okay, I'll leave it alone.
No, it's okay. What's one more bad decision?
Well, there are so many of them. You are not alone.
Yeah. And the way that they figured out that it was him was that he wore a bad jacket from Michael Jackson's world tour.
He likes the way it makes him feel.
And we're back.
So, yeah, that whole thing. How did we get into Michael Jackson? Oh, yeah, you were talking about...
people fainting and crying.
And crying.
Literally on a stretcher on the way out of his concert. I just would be so mad because I can't imagine a Michael Jackson concert would be cheap.
Yeah, but you know what? That's a much bigger deal. People are more jaded, I think, in the United States because we have access to a lot more stuff. You see a lot more of that in other countries where bands might not come all the time, you know? Every time in the 80s a heavy metal band would do a documentary of going around the world, it was very heavily countries outside the United States because they were playing to 200,000 people who were all chanting, people who can't speak English, but they're chanting your band's name and
That's crazy.
They know every lyric by heart in English because of your band.
But Michael Jackson was different, though. I think it would, if he gave a concert in New York City, it'd be the same in, Paris and London.
Now because he's dead and people would be freaking out because zombie Michael Jackson's up there. I get that.
I'd go to that concert.
I would too. Forget hologram Michael Jackson. There's zombie Michael Jackson up there.
The fact that he was going to do a residency at one of the biggest venues in the world for 30 shows, or was it 50 shows? I don't remember. That just goes to show you that that's draw power. He's like, no, you guys come to me. I'm just going to stay in London.
Well, Billy Joel does it at Madison Square Garden. He says he'll keep doing it until people stop coming.
That's the Piano Man. You love that song.
You love
Poundcake?
Piano Man.
That's a really long song.
It's not that long.
It's pretty long. It's 9 minutes. It feels like a eternity, though.
Yeah.
I would like it.
Alan Poundcake said Bucharest is in Romania. I'm not sure about that. He's absolutely correct. And the reason that I knew he was correct is because he learned it from a Michael Jackson documentary. And there's no way he's not going to know every detail of that. That's how, if there were any other circumstance in which you asked him, what country is Bucharest in? Aside from the Michael Jackson documentary, he would not know. Most people would not know.
I didn't know Bucharest was a city before.
But that's how you learn things. That's how he learns.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way he's not going to know every detail of that.
I think that's cool.
I'm right, yeah? I mean, I'm not wrong about that.
I mean, yeah, I would. There are cities that I probably will never, ever visit. And I know because some of my favorite stars have visited there. And I'm like, the fact that I like this person and this person can go to a place I've never even heard of and sell it out. That's pretty badass to me. I'm sure Michael Jackson from Gary, Indiana didn't know what Bucharest, Romania was when he grew up.
That's a good assumption.
Maybe he learned it in geography class.
When did you learn about Bucharest, Romania?
1981. It was a summer day.
Before all of us were born.
I remember it like it was yesterday, and it was a mere 40 years ago. 40 and some change. It was a warm summer day.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Bucharest or Bucharest?
Well, there is Boutros Ghali. Yeah, well, there is a T in it. So do with that what you will.
I didn't know what where Brussels was. I never heard of Brussels before. Like
Had you heard of the Sprouts that are their primary export?
No.
And how did you learn about Brussels?
The terrorist attack. I didn't know that was a city.
But you were familiar with Belgium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was because I knew a foreign exchange student from there.
Okay.
Like there's certain places that I'm like triggered that I want to go. Like Berlin, I know that's a very gay city. So I want to know. Tel Aviv, I knew because it's a very gay city. So
I don't know that Berlin is referred to as a very gay city. I don't know if the Berlin Chamber of Commerce or
Gay-friendly.
the tourism. Well, yes, every large city is gay friendly.
That's not true. Go to Moscow.
If you have, well, what I,
I'm just saying.
but you know what I would guarantee you? You will find just as many gay bars in Berlin as you will in Moscow. Guaranteed. Because you're not going to have that many people in one place. I mean, barring any nonsense religious issues, you go to some huge city in the Middle East, you're still going to have a lot of, you're still going to have a lot of gay activities. It might be a little bit more underground. On the subject of Belgium, Antwerp is a much funnier city name than Brussels. Everybody loves talking about Brussels. Antwerp is much funnier.
Yeah, I know. Everybody, like all weekend, anybody I was talking to, they're always talking about Brussels. Because they all love talking about it so much.
Brussels, well, the Sprouts. You ever had Antwerp Sprouts?
Yes.
Not as good. Not as good.
It all depends on how they're prepared.
Not even a little oil and bacon can save those Antwerp Sprouts. But listen, however you learn things, it's good. Right? I don't care how you learn them. You learned them. You learned about Brussels.
He's on the phone now.
You know? I learned about, you ever see that movie In Bruges with Colin Farrell? They're hitmen.
Never actually saw it.
That's in Belgium, too. That's how I learned about Bruges. They were in Bruges.
It's not pronounced in Bruges.
Maybe some places.
Or Bruges.
Not there. Welcome to Bruges. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Alan, hate the show.
What's going on?
Hope you guys all had a great break.
Thank you. You too.
I'm calling in because some people in England are not having a great break. You guys were just talking about boy bands, about people fainting and other
this
things.
Is Mike.
There's a bunch of people snowed in a pub in England.
I was reading about that,
yeah.
yeah.
I think like 60 people or something. It's like the tallest or the highest elevated pub in England, and they're stuck there with an Oasis cover band of all boy bands.
Yeah, I misread that. I thought they were stuck in a pub with Edward Snowden.
Well, if you haven't heard if you haven't heard Wonderwall enough over the last 25 years, here you go again. But the internet's just great on this one. There's a lot of parodies out there. One of the best ones I heard was something like, "Today is gonna be the day where we get stuck here with you." And there's a lot of that going on. And
They worked hard on that
TikTok
one.
these days.
You stink! Yeah, the cover band is called Noasis, and they were booked to play on Friday, and they're still there with 61 other people at the Tan Hill Inn. It is the pub at the highest altitude in the United Kingdom after a huge snowstorm hit. They said they're all in good spirits. Nice pun. They're all eating and drinking well. This is like Shaun of the Dead, but without zombies.
Just wait till it blow over. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So not Edward Snowden is what I thought. Okay. Hey, thank you, Mike.
Take it easy, Al.
Appreciate the update there. They had to call a mountain rescue team to grab one guy who had to get to his dialysis treatment. But everybody else is like, yeah, we'll stay.
I'll stay and drink.
We're stuck in a pub.
As long as there's booze.
Yeah, are you really stuck in a
Hang
pub?
out.
Oh, yeah, it'll be fine until the booze runs out.
Then it's a problem.
Then it's an issue. But this storm did kill 3 people in the United Kingdom. Just not at the pub. But I like that in the UK, and this is why I like the whole vibe there, is that they knew the storm was coming. And 60 people said, screw it. I want to go see this Oasis cover band at our local pub. Are you sure? Because the storm Arwen is coming through. And they go, yeah, it won't be anything. All right, well, let's go to the pub. Let's have a couple of pints and listen to Noasis.
I mean,
because they have quizzes and table games and karaoke and sing-along carol sessions. That's when I'd start slitting my wrists, not hesitation marks. Full puzzle carol sessions and puzzle games.
It's the last person
Table
you want to
games.
show up to a party is sing along Carol. She's always walking in. Nah, God damn
She
it.
knows
Sing
all,
along Carol's here.
knows all the Oasis songs, the whole bit.
All the Disney movies.
This is absolutely ridiculous.
Yep. They were out of Pims.
This is stupid.
Number 7, not 11.
This is stupid.
All right, well. Sing along Carol. Back for the attack. Alan, there's an Antwerp, Ohio. Ooh! Do they have sprouts?
I'm sure there's something sprouting there.
Some kind of a sprout.
Probably hope and optimism and all kinds of... You don't think so? Oh, come on. It's on the Maumee River.
Hey, that's by Toledo.
Hey, thanks. Anywho.
Okay. Sorry, geography master. Just trying to help out our fans here.
I appreciate that. I like how they point out that it was named after the city of Antwerp in Belgium. Oh, not Frank Antwerp, the guy who founded the town. It's the site of the Reservoir War. It's like Ruhr. It's hard to say. The Reservoir War. Reservoir War. Reservoir War.
There you go.
The Reservoir War.
Reservoir. Let's make it one word. Easier.
The people attacking the reservoir in the war
War what?
had a flag that said "No compromise," and the city still uses this motto today. So I bet it's a real fun town to be in. They got a flag that says "No compromise." Well, that's how you win a reservoir war. Is no compromise. All these people trying to have their own reservoir wars. They're like, maybe we'll meet somewhere in the middle. Nope. No compromise. Alan, there are over 170 gay bars in Berlin. Yes, no one's doubting the number of what I'm saying is that...
Where's Moscow? I want to know the nightlife. Woo! Out in Moscow.
Well, first of all, you're not going to Moscow, so what do you care?
If they had gay bars, if they had a bunch of gay bars, I might.
It's got to be a little more underground there, right? Isn't being gay illegal?
Want to be Moscow.
In Russia?
Out on the road.
Yeah.
Well,
He's going to hit it on his way to Chernobyl.
You know, you set up with Chernobyl.
You're the one who wants to visit.
I just said I would go there for like 45.
A day trip.
Yeah.
This article on Moscow says, why the city is pinker than you think.
Ooh.
It should have said pinker than you thinker. That would have been, would have stuck in your brain a little bit more. LGBT nights are easy to find, and Grindr reaches into the heart of the Kremlin itself.
It's a trap.
You
It
could
is
be
a
in
trap.
You could be in Red Square and get on Grindr.
It's a trap.
More like a red circle, but you do you.
That's the feature on Grindr where you're like, stay away from these ones. He's in the red circle.
Right.
I can totally see that. Like, you're talking to someone and they send you all the sexy pictures. It's like, ooh, a man in uniform. You don't even realize it's a cop. Then you go there and it's just like a bunch of dudes. They're like, oh, I didn't know I was doing an orgy tonight. And then they just take you away. Like,
I didn't know I was doing an orgy tonight. Don't you hate when that happens?
I've been in accidental orgies before.
You've been to accidental orgies?
Yeah, the dude invited me over for like a night. We were just supposed to hook up, just us two. And I get there's like 4 other dudes. I'm like, who are these people? Are they watching? And they're like, oh no, I invited them too. I'm like, you ain't say that. I ain't bring enough loot for all of us. He was like, don't worry, I got it. I was like, oh, okay.
I guess I figure you need more than 5 for an orgy. That's how I process it.
Well,
No, an orgy is 4 or more because 4 is a foursome.
Well, that's just because we call it a foursome. You could easily call 5 people a fivesome.
sure.
Orgy, for me, Mary.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be in an orgy, accidental or otherwise, double digits.
Yeah.
Is what I like inside. But you also need double-digit number of people.
Well, Alan, you're forgetting the age-old tale. 3's company, foursome, 5's an orgy.
You mean you need 10 or more to be an orgy?
I'm saying for me.
He's just being a stickler.
I am being a stickler.
10
I'll tell
or
you where to
more.
stickler it.
That's daring.
Well, that's what an orgy
You don't
is.
have to hook up with all of them. Because the
what-
options are there.
If it's 5 people, it's 2 couples and a 5th wheel. Is that an orgy? Somebody's going
or
to be
a
sitting
couple
there.
and a throuple.
Couple and a throuple. There's all kinds of permutations.
Well, 6. What?
Let me break. I will have, hey, Cavaliers tickets for you coming up. They are going to be playing the Sacramento Kings on Saturday, December the 11th at the Romo Fijo. Want to get to a Cavs game right around the holidays. I'll hook you up after the break. And then 5:30, listen for that keyword. All this week around 5:30, it's your last-ditch effort to get yourself to L.A. in January for our iHeartRadio Alter Ego Festival. So listen up for that.